the ladies of The View oftentimes disagree on political issues, but it appears that we have a situation where they agree, and it has to do with their love for Nancy Pelosi. Take a look.
And they were once on the cover of Rolling Stone together after the election. And lest we forget, it's Pelosi who delivered midterms, okay? And that's what I would say to these four women right here. It was her leadership, which I once questioned on this show. I no longer do. I would also like to say she's 79 years old. And she could be with her grandkids. She could be with her family. And I don't like her. I don't agree with her politics, but she's still serving her country. And that deserves respect from younger generations.
Okay. She was talking about Pelosi, but she was thinking about her dad that whole time. That's all that was.
You think so?
79 years old, could be home, but serves it's the exact same thing.
That is a good catch.
I could be wrong, maybe I'm being unfair, whatever. But she delivered midterms?
Okay, that's what I want to focus on.
What are you talking about?
How did she deliver midterms?
I can't explain that any better, which means that I am as qualified on this as she is, because she can't explain that any better. What does that mean?
Just think about the fact that if she had delivered midterms, if she had been such a huge component of the blue wave that happened in the midterm elections, why was the first debate in the House of Representatives following that election, okay, how do we make sure that Nancy Pelosi is not Speaker of the House? That was like the big debate, right? There was a fight within Congress, within the House of Representatives, about how there needed to be a challenger to Nancy Pelosi. Now, unfortunately, what ended up happening was that the candidates who were likely to replace her were further to the right than Nancy Pelosi is, which would have been a disaster. And that's the reason why, I don't even know why it worked out that way. But you had more conservative Democratic members of the House pushing for someone further to the right of Pelosi. And then I think that would have been so bad that people kind of gave up and they decided to support Pelosi instead. But anyway, my point is Pelosi has actually fought the core tenets of that blue wave tooth and nail from the very beginning. I mean, right now, she can't stop herself from going after freshman Democrats. She's been fighting them more aggressively than the Trump administration.
I mean, it makes sense from her point of view. It takes up time, and she has now decided that she's all in on we're not going to impeach Donald Trump. So I need to find something to fill my days with.
So let's just go after AOC and Ilhan Omar.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because every day, so she's decided that, for better or worse, that's her strategy. Every day, Trump and his administration do terrible things that demand investigation. People like AOC and others, they're the ones who are pushing for those sorts of investigations. But can you do those investigations? If you've said we're not impeaching him no matter what, then can we really delve too deep into the terrible things that he's doing? Because the more we reveal about the terrible things he's doing, the more pressure there'll be to impeach him. But I've said I'm not going to impeach him. So I now have an incentive to protect Donald Trump from scrutiny.
I mean, Justin Amash, of all people, who is conservative. I mean, he's now an independent representative as opposed to a Republican because the Republican Party is so insane. But I mean, he himself has said, Pelosi's making a big mistake here because when she publicly says, there isn't enough to impeach Donald Trump, she is minimizing what Trump has done in office so far, right? And then it's amazing, and you're absolutely right. Simultaneously, she keeps making this argument about how terrible Trump is. Okay, well, so is he terrible or is he not terrible? Because if he's engaging in a cover-up, which she accused him of, then why are you not pursuing an impeachment inquiry?
Yeah, and by the way, as a general thing that was out there during the midterms, were the Democrats saying we're gonna stand up to Trump or we're not gonna stand up to Trump? It was pretty clear. Investigations, get the taxes, all that stuff. That was not the only thing that the campaign was about, but to the extent that it was about Trump, it was about finally having a counter to him. And now she's in power and she's doing everything she can to disarm and to give him whatever he wants, to avoid conflict, because even though you just won an election on we're going to have conflict with him, she's now terrified that if she stands up to him that we'll somehow lose the 2020 election.
Let's take a look at the next video. The conversation continues.
I was texting memes to my friends, let them fight, let them all fight it out, because it's Democrat on Democrat crime. It's like fratricide. It's fascinating to watch. Republicans don't do this when it comes down to the wire. Democrats do it all the time. Well, we don't anymore. And I will say,
now they're lining up behind this fascist.
Yes, they are.
Wow, great. I mean, is that what she's proud of? I mean, so Meghan McCain is proud of Republicans lining up behind a fascist?
Well, she says she wants to have her cake and eat it too. She wants to say that she's not a fan of Trump, but I hate the other side more, I guess. I don't know. It's a difficult path.
So I think it's true that in some instances, especially among progressives, there's a lot of like nitpicking that doesn't need to happen, right? But yeah, we hold our own accountable. Like we have high standards for members of our party. And the whole point of that is to improve, right? To push toward progress on a number of policies that honestly like have stagnated in recent decades.
Yeah, no, she should be horrified at the state of her party because it has entirely become a cult of personality. I mean, Justin Amash was booted out of the party. Why? Because he wanted like mandatory gun roundups around the country? No, it's because he said, yeah, it sure looks like Trump committed impeachable offenses. That's just an honest read and an honest understanding of your constitutional responsibilities. And he admitted that, and that's a deadly sin. I would be horrified to be a part of a party where if you go against our dear leader, we're going to instantly boot you out. Even if you've been hardcore right winger the whole time, supportive of the president's agenda, and will continue to be supportive of the president's agenda. And by the way, when she's like, I once questioned her leadership, but I don't anymore. Like Bernie's got that list of anti-endorsements that sort of prove a point that these are the people who don't like him. Let's start to put together a list of endorsements for Nancy Pelosi, because if people like Meghan McCain are on your side, maybe you're not doing what's necessary to appeal to us if you're appealing to right wingers in that particular way.
On the go? Don't worry, we got you covered. You can still listen to TYT at our new podcast network. Find us on Apple Podcasts, the Google Play Store, or at tyt.com/podcast.